going to give up on you first before he gives up on you. To get your pen and your notepad, log on to our webinar platform, project100krevolution.com, and get away from any distractions, but get fired up, inspired, motivated, most of all, get educated with great information, be the next story, learn how to engage in activities that yield massive results. The next 30 days will blow your mind, make your will bigger than your won't. And it gives me great honor and pleasure to bring on to the line none other than my personal mentor, my coach, my good friend, National Director Going Global, Mr. Jason L. Scott the First from all over the world. Mr. Scott, the line is now yours, sir.
It's Aileen Galera. I'm absolutely on the phone line. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Please take it away.
Good stuff, young lady. I know, like you said, my voice is all over the place, but it's all good, young lady, because I decided that I was going to engage into this whole process. I was going to make sure that I kept myself moving. Get yourselves in a quiet place, guys. Get your pen and your pad out. We're looking for people. We're looking for 50 people who want to believe in the process, want to believe that what we say is a possibility of success. Now, if you happen to be on the webinar platform, guys, if you're not on the webinar platform, go to project100krevolution.com. That's project100krevolution.com. I'm going to share some information with you. First, we're going to talk. Then we're going to actually go through some things that I'm going to show you online that could possibly help you in your process over the next 30, 60, 90 days. And welcome each and every one of you guys who are logged online. I see we got, Aileen and Andrea and Bridget and Charlotte and DMA, Judy Herrera, Josette, Lissalette, Marissa and Maurice, Nikki, Rosemary, Val. We got some incredible leaders that's actually on the webinar platform already. So I just want to just say to each and every one of you guys, because it's always important that you plug your team in, you plug your organization in, you get your people plugged into not just yourself, but leaders who are making a difference, and leaders who are that's your senior business partner that's connected to you. Because I find in this company, guys, that back in the days, Mr. Smith and attest to, and maybe even Mr. DMA and other leaders who've been doing this for a long time. Normally what happens is you get training from an organizational leader, or you may go to a big event. And when you go to a big event, what happens is you will see that there was some type of leader that actually got a chance to hit some of the top 10 levels in the company. And when these leaders hit these top 10 levels in these companies, what will happen is people will be like, man, I wish that was my leadership. What are they doing that's so different? I wish that I could actually get a chance to be partnered with them. I mean, I wish I could learn from that leader. And for years, people would go to these different events, and they would see top leaders walk on the stage, and their teams are winning, but they just didn't know what was happening. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to make it happen. But nowadays, because of social media has changed the platform, and the evolution of the people and the revolution of how people revolve in and out of themselves, in and out of trainings, in and out of the systems, because whenever people start getting on this call and then that call and then this call and then that call over here and then this training, and all these leaders are training on all these different systems and things like that, guys, it sometimes can be a little overbearing or overwhelming, or people just stop building altogether. Now, that's why even in our organization, the basic training for the 4-step system is what it is. It's the company system, it's the training system, the training platform. Even though it's a company system, some leaders still plug in and try to add this and try that and try this and do these other things. And I say that, guys, not in a disrespectful way, but that's in any company. But if you want to really grow an organization, guys, you want to keep everything so simple. I travel nationally. I travel internationally. I go to different marketplaces, guys, and when I do, and I start bringing out certain things and start certain training, people are always saying, listen, well, how can I get that training? How can I get this one? I said, well, what are you using currently? Well, we use that one, but I've seen so much more stuff added to it. I see so much more stuff put on this right here that it just almost makes it overbearing. I can't quite get that one. But this one, I can get that one. I say that, guys, because everything that we do is about simplicity. Everything you must learn to do is about simplicity. Even in your own head, it has to be simplicity. I say that because a lot of us, we can't see ourselves past ourselves because we get ourselves in a way. We can't see ourselves past ourselves because we put ourselves in the way. And when you put yourself in the way, and it's not always meant to be a certain way. You do it because you're thinking. Then you start to overthink. Then you start to underthink, and then you start to overcook. As I heard Larissa Barclay say, you start to overcook them grits because you start to do too much thinking and too much trying to figure out, and just doing too much of too much of too much. But also, when you do that in the business of network marketing, too much can do the same thing. Overcook the grits. This training, that training, this person, that person. Trying to add on to this. Trying to add on. The leader talks about this steps, 4 steps, and you say 4 steps plus 5. You say, talk about this right here, I got this ahead plus that. Now, don't get me wrong, there's an extension of thought, there's an extension of understanding, there's an extension of a lot of different things, but when there's a system, you plug into the system and you learn to operate a system in the same way so that everybody can learn it. And when everybody can learn it, then everybody can duplicate it. When it's too much, there's no duplication in everybody switching, changing up, adding to, all this other stuff. Same thing when you're getting call, and you're telling your people, get on this call, now get on that call, get on this call. And everybody's getting on so many different calls that sometimes they still can be a little confusing in this process. So you as a leader, don't get me wrong. I always tell people, if you don't have a leadership team to plug into, then you can find a leader and you follow that process. Because if they're having success and they have a long-term success and the people are having success, then you say, okay, listen, I don't have no leadership team I'm plugged into, so I got to find somebody who I can pick a champion and follow what they're doing. Then that's it. And you start if you're already involved with a leadership team and they know what they're doing already, because they're having success. Like I said, people go to different events and wonder what people are doing. Now through social media, everybody sees what everybody's doing, and they start going, now I'm going to take bits and pieces of what everybody's doing, and I'm going to do something different. And then they still don't understand that my success, the reason why I was able to do it, first of all, is several things about this. When I say about this is this, has nothing to do with bragging, has nothing to do with nothing. And many of you have listened to me do a presentation or listened to me talk. And one thing that I'll say is this: people need dramatic examples to shake them out of apathy. You must choose to be an example. So when you have a chance, in order for you to become an example, become one. Don't get mad that somebody else comes in and they do $50,000 in a short period of time, or $100,000. Then when they said you get 100, you get mad. Or you want to tell them, man, they always talking about they make them. You can't get mad that people have done something and it should be inspirational to you. See, one thing about this is going to be inspiration and perspiration. Because I tell you, two things changes, man: inspiration and desperation. But people don't quite what they missed out is the perspiration part of it. You're going to be inspired, and you're going to be desperate. But until you put the work behind it, until you put the perspiration behind it, trust me. Come on, Dwayne. You know what I'm talking about. When I come to Trinidad, we're all day, every day, ain't we, bro? All day, every day, morning, night, noon. I'm doing an event in the morning time someplace. I'm doing an event at lunchtime someplace. I'm doing an event someplace. Dwayne, I know you're online right now. Is that true or is that true? We put the pedal to the metal, right? We're going to, listen, guys, listen, you saw me in St. Lucia. I'm meeting people at 1 o'clock. I'm meeting people at 2 o'clock. I'm meeting people at 7 o'clock. See, listen, when I travel to different marketplaces, I'm meeting people at this o'clock, that o'clock, all over the place. You know why? Because, yes, indeed, sir. You know why? Because in my process, it's perspiration. Two things change the man: inspiration and desperation. But you can be inspired and desperate all you want. If you don't put the perspiration behind it, if you don't understand that other people, in order for them to eat, there's certain things they had to do in order to eat. Matter of fact, I'm write this down. I'm going to show you how I ate my way to 6 figures. You got me? I'm going to show you how I ate my way to 6 figures and how I'm going to eat my way to 7 figures. Write this down. This, again, understanding this whole process, guys, is this. That's right, brother. That's right, brother. It's 24-hour o'clock. You know what I'm saying? It's 24-hour o'clock. Now, the thing is this, guys, in my process of eating my way to six figures, and I'm going to eat my way to 7 figures, I want you to do the same thing. I'm going to teach you strategies, mindset, Because in home-based business and what we do, just two things that we do. One is process training and one is progress training. The process is everyone can look and see the same information. They can Google it. Process is the mechanics of what we do. When people say like dynamics, mechanics, the economics of a business or numerically duplicatable, psychological. See, the duplicatable part is the actual the whole mechanics of it, the process, the progress, or the psychology of all this process. And I'm saying, guys, and the progress of this is mind, what you think, how you maneuver with the things that you're taught. How come I can tell you to do 3 steps and you do 2, and you think you're still doing it? Or they can say do these 5 steps and you do 4, and then are you change them around and say, I like that one, but I don't like that one, so I'm going to add this one in here. That's different for me. All these things that we do, and then we look back and we wonder, what happened? Why can't I have success? Well, guys, I tell you all the time, one of my mentors told me a long time ago, he said, Jason, whatever it is you want to become a champion in, don't ever ask someone who is not one how to become one. I heard that in my very first network marketing company. A lot of quotes and things that I say to you guys, it didn't come from something. It came from my very first network marketing company years back. I've been saying the same quotes for 20 plus. A lot of my quotes, because they govern how I think about things. They weren't something that I learned, when I was in prepaid legal, or something that I learned when I was in a real estate company, or something that I learned in different. It was something I learned way back. A lot of my quotes that I use, a lot of my psychology that I learned, because the very first leadership team taught me about the psychology of what I'm giving to you today. It's about understanding that when we learn how to govern our thoughts and learn how to put our thoughts in such a way to where it becomes simple for us, and then to become duplicatable, it becomes simple for other people, that's when you can start to see amazing results. All I ever want to do, guys, is keep everything so simple. I know that I can go deep as a speaker, as a coach. I've been seeing lately a lot of leaders, they've been talking about the fact that, like Candace Burke Davis and Nina and Greg and Nick Scott, they're going to be speaking directly connected to John C. Maxwell and an event that he has going on that he's going to make them part of the process. But I don't tell people that I'm also a part of John C. Maxwell's leadership team. I'm also a part of that process. I'm also in training with these guys and stuff. Not with them, but I'm in training with John C. Maxwell. I haven't told anybody. I keep most of my stuff as I move forward to self, and I just do what I do. I've been part of that process, learning, studying. You know why? Because when I first was interviewing with them, they were like, okay, why would you want to do what you're doing? I said, because I want to learn how to. I said, I've already learned over the years how to coach and mentor and guide. So I've been able to do 6 figures. I've been able to generate multiple millions of dollars in revenue for companies, and that was just learning leadership from other leaders that I've been a part of, but also John C. Maxwell from a distance. He's been my mentor through books and audios. I said, so I want to be able to be directly connected to him, so I can be able to move forward at another level. I want to be connected to him so I can be able to help more people by helping myself. I want to become a stronger leader, because in all things that I do, not just becoming a speaker. Oh, she want to speak? No, it's not becoming a speaker. I do that already. It's about becoming a better me, a better leader, so I can learn how to be able to teach people how to become a stronger and better them. See, guys, it's all the simplicity of what we do, all the simplicity. It's me understanding that even though I've got so much inside my mind of what I can coach and teach, I keep it simple. And I'm saying, and I find that the people who normally have the least amount of success is they just can't keep it simple. The smartest thing that you need to be doing, if you're a genius, the smartest thing in your genius is to understand, keep it simple. If you feel you're not a genius, then great. This is I'm not either. This is why I do 6 figures, because not being a genius, you know what I'm saying? But I can be surgical. I can be a surgeon with what I've learned. You give the surgeon just a scalpel, and he's surgical in his precision of cutting. You know what I'm saying? Just give me that. I'm surgical in my precision of cutting. And in my process of cutting, I ate myself to six figures. How did I do that? Write this down. Again, if you happen to be on project100krevolution.com, I'm going to share some stuff with you in a second when we talk about accountability. Right now, I'm talking about your mindset. Because I want you to understand a certain thing of what I think about and how I do it. These next 30 days are going to be influential and inspirational to a lot of you guys when you apply some of the things we're going to talk about tonight. But this is how I ate myself to six figures. All right? This, for me, it's about freedom. And freedom is the right of all sentient beings. And I'm going to teach you how we can get this process together. First of all, the first way, how I ate myself to six figures, the first 8 was I had to evaluate. I had to evaluate. Write that down. I had to evaluate myself, evaluate my situation, evaluate my sponsor, evaluate my leadership, evaluate how I look at them, how I look at me, how others look at me, how evaluate how I build relationships, how evaluate how I break relationships. Evaluate how I bring relationships back together when I've broken them, and it was because of me. Evaluate if the relationship was broken, and I put it back together even when it wasn't because of me, or I didn't think it was because of me, but I still want to see what I can do. So all these other things of evaluating, because our business is people. And the biggest people that you got to deal with is the people in your head. No, not the person. See, most of us have people in our heads. And all the people that we have, and they're always conflicting in thoughts. Because somebody be like, you have the one person in your mind be like, they don't know who they're talking to. You better get out of my face, talk to me like that. Then the other person in your head say, listen, just be easy. You know, don't worry. Listen, they fault. They ain't their fault. They crazy. Just go ahead and let them go. Another person, because you know what? I don't want no drama. I don't got no part to this right here, because every time I turn around, you always into something, and you always trying to cause problems, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut, because I don't want no problem with you right there. The other person is going, no. They don't want none of this, dog. I'm telling you who I am. I'm a hook. You see, you got all these people in your head talking. They're all talking at the same time, and they're all talking at the same time, and you find yourself like, so now the key thing about that is this, evaluating in your mind who's talking to you at this one moment. Because if you find that when your leader is talking to you and you find yourself talking against your leader, then you got to ask yourself, is it me or is it that other person? When you're talking to a prospect and you find yourself talking too much, and you know you're not supposed to be talking like too much, because we say this PS3 just piqued their interest, and then we showed them the plans to 3 call. You can ask yourself, you know what I'm saying, like, who is it that's talking as much when I know that I'm not supposed to be talking as much when they say don't talk as much? When you start to evaluate why haven't I been able to hit my pin levels? How come I haven't had my success? How come I wasn't able to get myself to where I want to get you right now? Because you have to learn to evaluate, because I had to, in order to get myself to six figure, I had to evaluate. Jason L. Scott the first. Man, come on, Jason. Come on, man. You bigger than this. Oh, man, come on, man. Just get up, man. Get yourself up. Oh, get up, man. Stop Netflixing. Get out there and start networking. Come on, man. Stop Netflixing. Joe, you know you're better than this. Come on. And I got to do this again. I got to start all over from scratch again. I don't feel like doing this today. I don't feel like talking to nobody today. Phone ringing, looking at the phone. Oh, man. Sitting back, feeling depressed. Phone ringing, look at the phone, put it back down. People knocking on the door. You don't answer. Blinds down. Windows closed. You just looking around at the ceiling, thinking, watching the fan. Feeling to yourself, please, I'm not like this. Come on, man. I need to do something. I'm tired of. Can I just get up and go, please? I gotta get up. It ain't working for me. You gotta evaluate what it is that could become a driving force. Who is it that you talk to? Who is it that talks to you when you be like, yes, right now, yes. You know that person in your mindset that always says yes. The one that you call the crazy one, that joker crazy. You gonna get him to do a meeting at 2:00 in the morning? Yeah. You're going to do 4 or 5 meetings back to back. Yep. You're going to do another meeting. You just finished 4 of them just now. Your voice is going. Yep. You mean to tell me you're going to drive from North Carolina all the way to Houston, Texas? Yep. Now, you do know that's like about 24 hours drive. So you're going to drive like 20 hours plus. So you're going to drive 20 hours. Yeah. You're going to drive 20 hours one way. So that's like 48 hours or 42 hours, 44 hours 2 ways. Back and forth, round trip. You do know that, right? Yeah. Oh, so you're going to do that? And when you first started doing this, remember when you first started doing that and you didn't have a lot of money and you used to drive back and forth like that and you used to sleep in your car and you didn't have any money and nobody knew that? Yeah, I know. And you did it back then, too, when you didn't have any money? Yeah, You would sleep in the car. As Mr. Smith was saying, you would be in the back seat and took all your clothes off. Well, I want to say what all he said. But you're in the back seat, like in the car. I'm like, well, I don't, even though he'd be a little dramatic in his examples, but no, I wasn't like that. But yes, I did sleep in the car many times. Why would you do something like that? Because I had to say yes. Because doing what I was doing wasn't helping me. I had to get up and go. I had to get in front of the people. Because if I don't get in front of the people, one thing I value about myself, I'm an introvert. And if I'm not, and even though I'd rather be by myself, me being by myself can be one of the worst things that I do for me. Because in order for me to build my business, I have to build people. And the best way for me to build people is to build myself. In times of change, we all seek out leaders, but the best reformers ever known are those who start with themselves. If I want to reform other people, I must first reform myself. So I must evaluate. Who am I? Why? What? Come on. Find something. Find some way to get up and keep going. Find some way to keep moving even when you don't want to. Find some way to keep stepping when you want to stop. Find some way to get up when you want to sleep. Find some way to be nice when you want to be mean and nasty. You can't help it because that's where you come from. But we can't use that as an excuse. We got to find a way to stop using that as an excuse. We got to find a way to stop always looking and seeing what's wrong with everybody else and see no flaws inside of ourselves. And we got to evaluate inside of our process that we can't, that sometimes in home-based business, you got to be doing some kicking and you got to be doing some patting. But the thing about home-based business is learning that sometimes you got to kick the ones that need to be patted and sometimes you got to pat the ones that need to be kicked. But in order for you to know how to work that out, you got to first evaluate you. Evaluate your situation. Evaluate if you want to stay there. And evaluate your worthiness. Because you got to always know who you are. You must always know whose you are. In your process of your evaluation and how you eat yourself, how I ate myself to 6 figures, and how that's how you're going to have to do your first, your first process of it is first to evaluate. The second thing that I had to do when it came to me eating and when I ate myself to 6 figures is I actually had to calculate. I had to calculate. You know what I'm saying? See how we see, listen, in this process, you got to learn to be more calculating. So what happens is a lot of times we just kind of we'll just kind of, I'm going to go with the flow. If something else shows up, if something else comes up, I'll do what I got to do when I got to do it. If somebody hits me up, then I'll go do something. If somebody call me, then I'll go put something in place. If they do this, no. I had to calculate. I remember when I first got on tour, when I first got on tour, I was already making some money with the company. I remember I had first told Stormy when I first joined, I'm about to hit the road. I'm about to go do some home parties. And that's not how she normally built. So she was like, why are you going to do that? You just got that paycheck, so stay at home and do some VGOs and calls and stuff like that. and I was like, oh, okay, let me do how she says do it, because that's what she did. And I did that for a while, and I was making calls and stuff and things. But because I was by myself, I found myself, remember I was talking about evaluating? When I was by myself, I was doing calls. I was doing stuff for people. But I do my best work when I'm around people, when I'm able to let people feel me. And that's the part of the personality style that she didn't know that I had at the time. I had to be out in front of people, because if I was by myself, my calculations for what I already calculated for myself is that it was going to end up being zero. So I had to calculate. First of all, I knew what I had. I knew what I needed financially. I knew what I wanted. So I had to start to calculate some things. I had to calculate, who I was going to work with, calculate how I was going to work with them, calculate the income potential that they can make, calculate my own income potential, calculate and know my compensation plan. So I know if I can earn 20% of 10% in this right here. Like for instance, let's say you get your calculator out right now. I'm saying, and the thing is, you got to learn to become calculating not just in numbers, but in how you calculate your movement. You got me? Your whole process and stuff. How you can start to calculate, all the different places that can generate some success for you. All the different places, like one of my workout partners is Tammy Moorhead. And Tammy was talking today, and Tammy was like, hey, Jason, because we haven't spoken. She's my workout partner, but we know we're talking all the time, and we just kind of got it out of our rhythm. And so today I just called her out of the blue, and we spoke and stuff. What you doing? So I'm packing to get myself back to California. So I thought you was out there already. I said, we haven't spoken in a while. So I thought you was already gone out there in California. So no, I didn't go. But I had to calculate some things and put some things in place. And, I'm going to get back out there. I got some new people that just came on board, and I'm working with them when I get out there. And teams are going pretty good, but I'm going to get out here and go to this new area, and I'm going to do some other stuff. And I'm like, great, because that's what you got to do. You got to be able to calculate yourself and calculate where you can draw some numbers in and calculate some volume and calculate all these other things. And so I say, okay, I got these people over here. If I got these people in my organization and I work with them, I can do something. I got this for myself. If I can move around over here. So me getting around on tour the first time was me calculating. I calculated the fact, first of all, I knew through my evaluation I had to get going. Not saying everybody got to move around the way I moved around. City to city, but you got your own city that you can do all that. You can do house to house, one block to the next block. You can just move right around your local area. But I still understood that I had to calculate. See, you ever see me write this on my timeline, like hashtag I write my paycheck? Because I calculated the fact that if I can put this many people in on fast start bonuses, I can earn this. I needed $5,000 my first week, so I calculated how much volume I needed to do and how many people I needed to put in. I made $4,500 my first week. I did $600 in sales. I did $3,900 in fast start bonuses because I calculated. Mr. Smith, remember when I told him something came up just when I was about to launch. Now I knew I was going to launch. I knew I had to have the story, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a story and make sure my first week I'm gonna do about $1,000, $2,000. Like I said, I did $3,000, whatever. But then just as I was about to launch, the great I am made it possible. And I say that because some people can see it two ways. One may see it as opposition. All right, and oh man, I can't believe that opposition got in the way. The cops are at the door. Your kids are screaming. Your grandkids getting pulled away. All this stuff going on. Everybody's calling you saying, "What you gonna do? You got to get over here and help us. This is going on over here. The cops are here, and what you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Well, I can do it now. I'm about to launch. I can't believe you're gonna do that right there. And this is happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Your son needs you over here. What you gonna?" I'm like, I know, but you guys understand. I gotta launch it still. If I don't launch it, everything's gonna fall apart. Now, at one point, I could have said the opposition there. Everybody turned on the opposition, but the process, the time that it happened, I was about to launch in 30 minutes, actually about 15, 20 minutes, I was about to launch. And I talked to Stormy, and she was like, you want to cancel? I was like, no, I got to keep going. I got to do it anyway, Stormy. I got to do it. And I actually still launched anyway despite that because I recognize now that was the great I am because I had to have a goal. I had to calculate something. And because my first calculations was I'm just going to make it was just me evaluating some things. I guess if I just make a couple of dollars here, make at least have a good launch, did $2,000, $1,500, I could better say I did $2,000 my first week. Most people never do that. That'd be great. But then when they was like, what I got to do? Well, you're going to have to have an attorney. What you going to do with an attorney? Well, the attorney's going to say, I'm probably have to have $5,000 in order for us to get the attorney to be able to represent us in this custody case with your grandson, with your granddaughter. The first thing I said was, I'm going to get that money. Don't worry about that. I'm going to get that. But I said, listen, just let me do what I do. I evaluate the situation. I'm going to calculate that. I'm going to get that this week. I'm going to get that money. Trust me, that's not going to happen. And I got busy. And I was able to calculate where I was at and what I needed. And I started going to work based off of my calculations. And I need you to understand, you know how we say, well, This is my house payment. This is my this. This is what I need. It ain't even much most of the time in what you think. Based on what we can make in this company, it's really not much. But most never calculate it, since you don't calculate all of what you need and then how you can get it in this company. You kind of just because many have a backup plan, so they go at this business as though they got a backup plan. I got the job, so I don't do this business really in a big way. My calculation is this. I must do this business every day, 7 days a week. I worked it basically part-time like everybody else, because most people I was working with, they didn't get off to the evening time. So I wasn't able to do nothing with nobody until the evening. So everybody said, well, I had the job and I had this right here. Well, I didn't do anything part-time. My first year was basically part-time too. Yeah, I traveled, did other stuff, but most of the stuff that I did was in the evening time. Most of the stuff in my first half of the year, first 8-9 months in the evening, because hardly nobody was there in the daytime. We had some countries that launched that first, but they fell off the grid, so I didn't have reason to do a lot of the 2 and 3 o'clock stuff in the daytime. So most of my work was in the evening time, because most people don't get off until 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, so you can't go to work until the evening. So I had to calculate all that in my formula. But I need you to calculate what you need. And then once you calculate it, then we're going to calculate divided by, divided by 30. That show you how much money you need to make on a daily basis. Because many don't calculate it. They just kind of just hope that something shows up. But you can write your paycheck in this company. And I need you to calculate that. Also, coordinate. That's the other way of how I ate. Coordinate. Coordinate, guys, is important because my coordination, first of all, I'm ADD, attention deficit. In case people know what that is. Adult ADD, attention deficit disorder. I can be all over the place. Even how I tell a story, and I start telling a story inside of a story, then I tell a story inside of a story inside of a story. Then all of a sudden I told a story inside of a story inside of a story inside of a story, and I'll never make it back to the original story. Oh, you don't know how to do that? Okay, well, listen to some of my replays. You'll see it then. You'll catch it. Now, I typically tie it all back in because I've learned how to tie all that stuff back in. I'll get back to the original story by tying it all in some type of way. But normally, I chase the rabbit down a rabbit hole because my attention deficit will kick in, and I'll start telling you something that's rough, but I have a conversation, a thought process of something else, and something else, then something else, something else. Then I'm way down the rabbit hole. All right? Now, I say that to you guys because I know I can be all over the place. I recognize that my coordination had to come with my calendar, had to come with my accountability. See, part of what I do in my calculation and stuff is accountability, and I'm going to show that to you just shortly as we talk about accountability in the second half of the call. All right? But my coordination comes from me having my calendar. Because when I got my calendar, and I told you I can calculate all these things in my calendar, it got how many months, how many days in the month. Then it shows me what days I'm going to work based off my faith and my family and my finances. I mean, what days that I have available that I'm going to work. And once I have those days available, then I know that I have this many hours on those days that I'm going to work. So nobody can't say they don't have time when all you got to do is coordinate your time through your calendar. And then, of course, the way of how I ate myself to six figures, guys, was that I had to orchestrate. Because once I evaluate and I calculate and I coordinate, now it's time for me to orchestrate. That means it's time for me to do all the things. You know what I'm saying, how I'm going to put all these pieces of the puzzle. Because as you're moving, that means every day I'm still evaluating. Every time I do something, the numbers kind of change around and may not make this sale and that day. People may not join this day more than people than I thought, so I'm still having to recalculate some things. Coordinating, I have my calendar out, and then all of a sudden, other things that get thrown in the mix of that right there. The kids need money for this over here, so money I thought I was going to use to travel over here. Now I can't travel, so I have to figure out how I'm going to do that from home and make some phone calls because they need this money. So until I get more money coming in, I can't move with the money, so I got to move. So I have to do all this other stuff, but I had to learn that I had to orchestrate all these different things. See, the most important thing I want you to understand is this. And it's important that you write this down. All of you geniuses and all of you people who love to be able to, who just like, listen, I'm the type of person that I got to have it all just right dressed. If I don't see it that way, if I'm not in total control, then I just can't do it. Well, write this down. You're never going to be in control. The best thing for you to understand The way to control yourself is to understand you're never going to be in total control. The best way for you to move forward is to understand that you're never going to be 1,000% in everything dressed, and it's okay. But part of your orchestration of that needs to be you learning this, to go through the motions with the proper emotions. A lot of times we go through the motions, but if your emotions are not right in your process, you're not orchestrating everything because you're overlooking things you don't want to do, things you don't feel like doing. The orchestration part is once you put it down, once you figure things out, you got to go for it. You got to orchestrate it. Then you got to recognize that Gandhi said when you're fighting for a just cause, the right people tend to pop up and materialize. While I was driving today, I started making phone calls. I'm making calls. I'm like, listen, I'm going to be over here. I'm going to come do a meeting for you over there. I'm going to do a wild party over here. Then I'm on the phone talking with some people in California. I said, listen, I'm going to go to Trinidad, Tobago next week. And once that's a matter of fact, let me call my assistant right now. Aileen, do me a favor, go ahead and book the room, book my flight because I need to get into this date. But I need to have a quick flight in and out because I got new people came on board. So I need to fly back out. So I was coordinating. I calculated. I evaluated where I was at, what was going on with the new people. I calculated, how I can help get some numbers moving for them and calculate some things for what they need for themselves and their family and Aileen and myself and other stuff. And I started coordinating different things, get online, book my flight, do something. Let me get my calendar out. Let me see what's going on. Then I thought the rest of that is orchestrating it all. And how I orchestrate who I'm going to use and what I'm going to use in my process. Or you got an event out that way, so when I come back from Cali, I wasn't going to New York, but instead of going to New York, I'm going to fly back over here because I got new people who just joined, so I'm going to come back and do something for them first, and then I'm going to do something over here. And once I do it from over there, I'm going to fly out to you guys and spend some time with you for 2 or 3 days. I'm going to do an event with you, then I'm going to do a home. See, that's the orchestration of it all. Let me give you this, guys, in this whole process right here. Let me give it to you. Right? If you're on project100krevolution.com, let's talk about some accountability as we go into the second half of this call. First half is for you to get your mindset right. Understand your thought processes. Understand how we think. Understand all the little things that I want to give you for you to really pay attention to yourself. Now, the accountability process is this, guy. It's going to be important. Stick with me till we're going to be almost done here. And we talked about this before, but I need you to understand right now I want to talk about it in a way you again, and you each time you talk about it, you may have been in a different place in your life, in your business. Accountability is simply giving someone permission to lead you. It's never a question of how I can help you because most people don't know. So if you're working with a person and you're working with them, you need to hold yourself accountable, and you got to recognize your job is not to just say, well, call me when you need me, or I'll let them get back to me whenever they know. They don't always know what they need. They don't know how to orchestrate. They don't know how to calculate yet. They don't know what they're evaluating because they don't know all the pieces to the puzzle yet. They don't know how to do all this other stuff. So you got to be the orchestrator or the director, not the dictator, but the director of this process. And because that's a whole other training of directing, you got to learn to direct people a certain way so you can orchestrate, coordinate, calculate, evaluate, all these other things so that we can help them get their business off the ground. But it's more about the fact of, listen, this is how I'll help you. Help yourself. That's what I'm going to do for you. This is what we're going to do. Okay, get your calendar out. This is what I've got going on. I got this day and that day. This is what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to do a call for you. I'm coming over. I'm going to do this over here. See, it's never try. We got to replace try with these 3 words. My goal is. And when I speak with people, listen, if you know your goal and you know their goal, then you work together to orchestrate, to calculate, to coordinate, to evaluate what's going on so you can help people reach their goals. The terminology for all that stuff when you're talking about the terminology and your goals, it's these accomplishments. The many accomplishments that people get along the way. That's why even though we got director, we put the 500 club along the way. I'm part of different leaders groups and stuff, and I'm part of different leaders. I got a text and you can't hear me. Can you hear me now? You still can't hear me? Can you hear me? I need to know if you guys can still hear me. All right? Can you hear me better? All right. So anyway, in my process of working alongside different leaders and people in their posting, one of the things we created was a 500 Club, because 500 Club was something that would psychologically help people move past themselves, help people get themselves over themselves. It helps people say, you know what, if I can't see myself going to director today, I'm going to keep myself moving forward, because there's benchmarks that I want you to understand. Because first of all, you guys know this. Write this down. If you're on Project 100K Revolution, you see it. But if not, understand this. You understand there's different PIN levels that we hit, right? Write this down. PIN levels are indicative of income levels. Now, it don't mean, in this company, you can be a director and do six figures. You can be, I've never seen a company like it ever, the way people are winning in this process. Now, when you go director is 1,000 on the left, 1,000 on the right. But when you first start working with people, guys, you got to understand that accountability is for you and accountability is for them. We put several things in place to help people through this process, and I'm going to discover that and talk about that in a little bit. But it's simply you recognizing, guys, that you want to be able to have an accountability for self. You want to be checking your back office and things like that, and I'm going to cover that in a whole other training later. But just understanding that the benchmarks, write this down, your benchmarks are going to be Friday, it's going to be Monday, and then, of course, Thursday is the end of the work week, but we like to say Wednesday, Thursday, because some people try to end it up on Wednesday. I want people to focus on Wednesday being the end of the work week. But most people, because they don't get busy until it becomes something psychological inside a person's mind that's the end of the work week, they normally won't do it. I can tell you the end of the work week, but because you know that Thursday is, your mindset still doesn't lock it into Thursday. But for some of you who will get it, you'll make Wednesday the end of your work week or your EOW. So your benchmarks basically means this. If you know what your goal is, along the way to getting your goal, what's going to be your many accomplishments along the way? So if your goal is 1,000 to get director done every week or re-qualify for director, what do I need by Friday coming into that? Friday, I need 334. 334 in volume on my left, 334 in volume on my right. Let me help you understand something what that means. If you got your calculator, this is the calculation part. This is how I figure things out. Listen, I got my calculator right here. 334. 334, right? That's the calculator, get it out. 334 divided by 40. That's like 8 people on your left and 8 people on your right every Friday who have ordered a product, who are product orders or customers that reordered every Friday. Just 8 on the right and 8 on the left. That'll give you your 334 that you need at least at 40 volume minimum. All right? That right there. That's all you need. Or, you guys get that? 334. Now, if you actually understand that by Monday, because Monday what we do with our benchmarks is it gives us accounts along the way. So 334, starting on Friday, everybody's not going to do it, but you will have people that will, by Friday, they're going to be customers ordering. You know what I'm saying? You're going to constantly keep things going on. You have people in your team moving. So you're going to see that 334. But also, by Monday, because you have worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Monday, because we're talking about 1,000, right? All we're talking about is the fact is this. You're going to get 1,000 for your volume to get you done directly on one side. If you divide 1,000 by 3, it's where I get these numbers from. 1,000 by 3 is 3333333, but it's actually 33. The reason why I say 3 is 334 in volume. All right, if you kind of just round that up, that's what the benchmark is. Instead of 1,000 at the end of the week means 334 by Friday. Then of course 667, which is same thing 666, but I didn't want to put 6 in 66.7. And that basically means that by Monday, because you have become a weekend warrior and you work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, by Monday, your team is like, oh, I got 667 on the left, 67 on the right, or 667 on one side. And now in your mindset, you be like, man, I can see myself going to director. So what happens is most people don't do nothing all weekend. They don't do nothing at the end of the week. So they don't do nothing all week. And at the end of the week, they'll get their phones out, or get their numbers out, go into their back office, and they'll go, so how close are you? Nah, I'm not close. So they give up because it's not important. So they give up. But if you put it in your mindset to where you say, you know what, let me every week get myself focused on my goal, on my many accomplishments, whether it's executive director, regional, even let's say if you, same thing as regional, 10,000 volume divided by 3. National, 20,000 volume divided by 3. You'll basically see where you need to be at by Friday. Then by going to work with you and several people in your team, where you be at by Monday over the weekend. And then, of course, from Monday through Wednesday and Thursday, where you be at by the end of the week. If we start focusing that way, guys, you're going to start to see that through your accountability and your many accomplishments, you're going to start to see some other things. Let me break this down. What happens is this. We have zones that we work inside of. And the reason why we do zones is designed to be like when people are working out at the gym. And Mr. Smith knows what I'm talking about because he works out all the time. When you can work out at the gym, many of you who have started working out now because we're going to help a wellness company have realized that you may have hit a plateau, which means, man, I lost this much weight at first, and all of a sudden I couldn't get it off no more. I lost fast this, and all of a sudden now this wasn't. Now I worked out, and I'm not seeing the results anymore, no growth anymore. Well, it's because you hit a plateau. And if you ever watch that workout program called P90X, they put a program in place that was designed to get a person over that plateau. It shakes the body up. It changes up every day, every couple of days, every week. It changes the system up so that your body doesn't plateau and get used to it. What happens is in this business, people get used to it. Because they do the same thing all the time, they get used to it. And because they get used to it, they going through the motions with the improper emotions. Just like, no, I got to get out and make it happen. They just kind of like, then you got, I'm not close. Well, my numbers are there. I'm okay. Well, you already know. I'm just, I'm requalifying. I'm barely requalifying. I'm okay. And but because there's no drive, there's nothing that shifts it up. So our white zone, that's when you do it. Like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the white zone. Write this stuff down, guys. You focus on the zones. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You should be like, listen, I'm a weekend warrior. More people can get more stuff done on the weekends than they can do throughout the week. People who work throughout the week and can't find no time, they can become a weekend warrior. There's jobs where people don't work all week, but they work like 12-hour shifts or something like that on the weekend for like 3 days, and then they're off the entire week. You do know that, right? Oh, so you do know the weekend warrior stuff can happen, and people can still get the same 40 hours in 3 days that people can do, almost three and a half days people can do all week. Yeah. The massive exposure, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you should be working on getting a lot of exposure between you and the 3 to 5 people that you're working with on a daily basis. All right? You find people that you're going to work with. I'm going to tell you in a second how that works, but that's going to help you to get massive exposures because if you expose a lot of people Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, hey, who do you know like lose 5 pounds in 5 days? Hey, has anyone talked to you about our 5 and 5 campaign? No, what's that? Oh, I'm surprised. There's a lot of us out here. Surprised. Oh, good stuff. That's great for me. Anyway, who do you know like lose 5 pounds in 5 days? Guys, you get a lot of people because all you want to get is numbers, people you can follow back up with. Because the blue zone, that's a follow-up, presenting, showing a plan phase, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Now, you will follow up, you will present, you will show the plan with people throughout the white zone as well. But your focus is going to be because you've got so many people exposed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A lot of them, they were out on the weekends, and they were free on the weekends, and they traveling around. They trying to eat. They trying to go to restaurants. They trying to have family time. So when you're talking, they really don't got no time to listen to the business. Even though people will walk up on somebody and give them a whole business presentation where they just told you they out with their family for the weekend. Nope. All I want to do right now is get your information and so I can have people to follow back up with. Now, you know what I'm saying, I may call somebody over the weekend. It's not a good time to talk. It's great. I'll call you on Monday, call you on Tuesday, call you on whatever. Now you're following up, presenting, showing a plan. And your whole team gets into that phase. And, of course, the red zone is by Thursday. Of course, you start going to the red zone by Wednesday because people start seeing where they at by Wednesday. Some may be like, man, I'm close, and they get it done by Wednesday. Others are going to say, you know what, I can see it happening. So Thursday becomes crunch time. That's closing time. A lot of people that you've exposed, 10, 15, 20 people, 30 people per person in your group. If I got 10 people I exposed all week, Mike got 10 people. This person got 10 people. That person got 10 people. You got 50 people that you can work with, 5 people in your group to expose, to put people through the process. And when you put 50 people through the process and you got 50 people to expose through the process, you're normally going to have 5 or 10 new people joining your organization through all the people that you expose. But you got to have enough people that's exposing and that went through the system for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Now a lot of these people who are on the fence because you did a 3-way call, because you said, get them on the phone now. Let us help you close the people out. Now you enlist your leadership and let us help you in that process. Guys, understand this. Every single week, I want you to understand that you got to mentor people. I want you to identify 3 people that you're going to mentor. If you ain't got nobody, we're going to help you get some people. Then you understand that we're going to be mentoring with you as we help you develop. But I want you to identify 3 people. Now, it can be more. It can be 5. Like right now, I got about 10, like in my calendar, I got several people that I identified that I'm working with. Some just get a random call, but they don't know that they're part of my list of people that I'm mentoring, my calls and stuff like that. Others know that they're part of my accountability, and if they want to be held accountable, I'm going to work with them. But you find the people that you're going to mentor. Now, this is what I'm mentoring people in. Write this down. I'm identifying people because there's 3 vital signs in business, in home-based business. One is how many people are doing 4 wild parties, VGOs a week. Now, we say 4, but I want you to understand this. 4 is just to get a person acclimated to the system. But 5 keeps a person making a strong paycheck in this company. You know why? Because 5 is the magic number for executive director. Because if you do 5 events and get 1,000 in volume per event, that's 5,000 in volume, which keeps you qualified as an ED. 4 may not keep you qualified because you may get about 4,000 in volume. But 5 is a magic number. But because I've always learned the process of 4, I put 4 in there. 4 gets people acclimated, gets people moving. Because the average person, when they first join, I can't do those things 5 times. But once they kind of see, when a person first joins, it's 2 times a person joins. The first time is when they do the paperwork. The second time when it goes from their head to their heart. When it goes to their heart, and they're like, I can't wait to get out here. A person now looking to do 5 qualified events a week. So I'm looking to mentor people who's doing 5 wild parties, VGOs a week. Now, again, even today, you heard Ms. Galera tell you, I've been on the calls. I'm doing a call like every hour, like 6. I've been on calls all day, actually, after calling from people, seeing who I'm mentoring. But I had, of course, I had the opportunity call. I did an hour before this call, right at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and then I had a launch call that I did right at 7 o'clock prior to that. Then I was doing calls at 6 o'clock and 5 o'clock, coaching calls and counseling calls and follow-up calls and putting in planning calls so I can orchestrate where I'm going to go to, coordinate, calculate, evaluate what I had going on and where I was moving to. All those things are what I was doing because in my mindset, I'm focusing on getting my wild parties in, my VGOs in a week. I want you to understand, if you want this thing to work, you need to be focusing on 4 to 5 wild parties every single week. I know it may be tough when you first hear that, but when you're mentoring people who say they're serious, you get other people because it got to be more than just you. You and them doing 4 to 5 a week, yeah, your life is going to start to change. How many tools are flowing through your organization? That's also part of what I'm doing when I'm mentoring. The first way of 3 vital signs, how many people that you have doing 4 wild parties of VGOs a week. So identify 3 people you're going to coach them. So it's you plus 3 or 4 other people doing the same thing. Then now you got tools flowing through the organization. How many, like in tools is like products. Tools is tea. Tools is magazines. Tools is audios, tapes, and books that we read. How many tools are flowing through your organization that everybody else is using other than just you? Because nobody got tea, nobody got product they can't sell. They got product they can't work. They can't make any money if they don't have any product. So you got to ask yourself, how many tools are flowing through the organization? So I want you to identify 3 people that you yourself, listen guys, I'm sharing with you how you can make this thing work, how you can leverage your time. Because until you start to mentor people, and you're the only one doing it, you got a job. But you got other people who are also doing through accountability. You know what they're doing with wild parties and VGOs, how many tools are flowing. And then, of course, the last one, number 3, is how many people are attending events. You got to understand, there's a whole training that I give on that another time, guys, about how many people you need to be having at every event in order for you to hit your rank goal. But right now, you got to ask yourself, how many people are attending events? We got a major event coming up, guys, if you don't know, in Trinidad and Tobago. And that event in Trinidad and Tobago, guys, is going to be a standing room only event. Matter of fact, there's going to be about 300 or 500 guests by itself in the room. I told the reps, you guys got to stand out in the parking lot, and we just outside in the parking lot, and we watching through Facebook Live, because we're going to keep Smile on the inside, who's doing the Facebook Live. We're all going to be tapped into Facebook Live on the outside, watching our phones. And when we're done, if I got to put a projector screen outside, and I got the internet, and I got it on the side of the building, and I'm watching somebody's Facebook Live on the screen. Watch what I tell you. We're gonna make it work. But the reason why I say that, guys, because it's not just my event. That event is we got Stormy Wellington coming to that event in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, because I know that's a major event, I'm like, how many people you guys are gonna have showing up to events? Not just guests. You know what I'm saying? Now when you got when you got guests at those events, that's one thing. But when you have training events and things like that, how many of your leaders are showing up? In other words, we got a lot of people in the team. How many of you guys are going to be showing up to the event? Right? So it's going to be important because when you got you plus other people, that's when your business becomes explosive. Guys, we got a 30-day, weekly activity overview that helps set up a daily, weekly time to talk to people. So you can kind of work with the people and say, listen, the reason why we got our daily activity and weekly activity overview, because 30 days is a game plan. Because most people forget what to do. And then there's a weekly activity overview because it's designed around PS3. If you understand it, how many ways can you pique somebody's interest? How many ways can you show somebody a business plan? And have you done a 3-way call? And our weekly activity overview is designed to do that so a person can see when they get, I did 1 on Friday, 2 on Thursday. Then when they see a bunch of zeros, they say, man, this thing I really ain't working the way I thought I was working. All right, because our job is to coach people, guys, assist people, help them overcome objections, teaching them the language of the business, practice scripts, encourage the heart of the people, teaching PS3, helping writing all that stuff down. All that's what we do in our process, and the reason why we do what we're doing. All right? And you got so many different ways and systems that you can use for follow-ups and everything, guys. But we're going to be just coaching. We're going to be training people. We're going to be having mastermind groups because when you're coaching, like group coaching is meetings and events. Smaller groups, you're doing some training. Even smaller groups, that's your mastermind group where you're working with people and developing them, and you guys are, you letting them lead and learn leadership things by asking them questions that they can start putting things together. You're giving people assignments and everything like that. See, because this whole thing is understand that you got to have your whole balance is learning to work with multiple people. But like I told you earlier, you got to understand that you got to get good at understanding. You're never going to have balance. So being out of balance is understanding is okay. Because you're going to understand that you're going to be out of balance. There's never going to be, man, I just like a balance. I can't get this thing. You're never going to get a balance. Because this is the ratio thing, guys. Listen, when I talk about ratio, you want to learn to aggressively pursue the ratio. You know how we always say 20, 10, 5, 1,000? I just did a call a little while ago. Man, I wish I had time to pull it up for the training right now. She had about 20 people on the call. That was actually 21 people that showed up on the call. All right. Now, the reason why I say that is this. I just signed up the day before yesterday. We had a coaching call yesterday. Told us to do a call today. We had 20 people on the call just 2 hours ago. As I finished the call, I'm going to follow back with some of them. She already texted me, said this person's signing up, that person's signing up. Some of them may be on a phone call right now while we're listening. You know why? Because I had her aggressively pursue the ratio. 20 people confirmed. Not, I'll see, 20 people who definitely say, so she was like, well, I called about 80-something people. I know. That's about the numbers because you're going to have to call about 80-something people. That's a whole other training. You call 80 people to get 40 people that you can get to answer the call. Get about 20 people that's going to say, oh, yeah, I'll definitely be there. Get about 10 people that's going to be able to, that show up. The 20 people say, I'll be there. Confirm, only 10 show up. Out of 10 that showed, we get about 5 people to join. So she called about 100+ people because every time I'm talking, I need to call 40, I call more. I call 80, call more. Call 100, call more. 120, call more. Keep on calling to make sure that she's able to get 20 people confirmed who stayed on the entire call all the way through. Guys, I'm telling you, you got to learn to aggressively pursue the ratio. And if you understand the ratio, and I don't just get people on the call to get them on the call. I understand that it's about the ratio. All right? Because 110 miles an hour, guys, if you want to go executive director by yourself, that's what I did out the gate. We actually had like 13 entrepreneurs. You can get like 13 entrepreneur packs. By yourself, you can go ED. Get a bunch of people come to the top package, 13 people. Because out of every 10 of the ratio is going to be what you're going to get out of people that join. So out of 20 people that's on the call, you may get about 2 to 5 people that join, 3 to 5 people that join, 10 people if you have a great influence in yourself, 8 to 10. But you want to learn how to map all this stuff out, guys. Know who's on your team. Call on them. Love on them. 3-way call people into your leaders to help encourage them because we got everything that you guys are going to need in order for you to have a major explosion into your business. Guys, I hope that this was able to bring some structure to you, some thought process to you, some things that you need to be able to and work with inside your mind and inside your heart in order for you to better build. What I want to do really quick before I'm done, guys, and it's been like right at 1 hour, I want to open up the call for any leader that we may have that's on the back line. I want to have any last-minute sharing that they want to do before we end tonight's call. Have anything on the back line right now?
Hey, Mr. Scott, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Walter A. Smith, 4th Quattro. Take it away, sir.
Good stuff, man. I'm sitting here getting hand cramps trying to take down all this information. Good information tonight. You know, one of the things that I love so much about pouring back into the organization is truly helping people understand how to make the business work. And one of the things that we've talked about for years and years is that there's 2 reasons that people fail in this industry. And the first one is that they were never told what to do. And the beautiful thing about this organization, the beautiful thing about pouring back into individuals is we take that excuse away. The second reason that people fail is that they were told what to do and they just didn't do it. And tonight you lay out exactly how to do it. So good information, good key information. Repetition is the mother of all learning. I love just hearing it over and over again. And every time you do this information, you always add something different, put it in a different way. So I just appreciate you, sir, and turn the call back over to you.
Thank you so much, Quattro. Appreciate you, sir. And we know we got big things that's coming into play right now with you growing the international markets. Can't wait to see us traveling out and flying out to these different marketplaces together and make some amazing things happen. But any last leaders I want to share for in tonight's call? Okay, good stuff, guys. Yes, Aileen Galera, take it away, young lady.
Also, another great call again, Mr. Scott, and thank you for bringing us back into the basics. You know, the 20-10-5 ratio is very, very real, and when it's applied, it truly gives you the results that you're looking for. So 20-10-5, 1,000 director is done right there. So thank you very much, Mr. Scott, and I'll turn the call back to you.
Thank you so much as well, young lady, and I appreciate you and all you bring to the organization and team, and thanks for being a testimonial on the young lady's call and her launch today. I greatly appreciate it. But, guys, appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys got a good earful, mouthful, got more than enough for you to chew on tonight. Got more than enough for you to go out here and hold some accountability with yourself and a group of people that you want to work with. Your next 30 days can become so influential to you and your family, but you got to be able to be willing to put the pedal to the metal. So I want you all to understand that given the sum total of all your decisions, you cannot change who you are, but given new life, new vision, new unity, you can change who you become. So with that today, take all the information that we gave you tonight, and let's all get out here and let's all just become. You guys have a great one. Love you all. Good night, everybody.